Monster Melee!
Owlbear
Versus Gelatinous Cube.
Two iconic melee brutes. One is a monstrosity of claws and beak, and the other is a slimy, sticky, engulfing ooze. Welcome to Monster Melee, everyone, where D&D creatures clash against one another in fantastic battles. I'm your commentator and game master, Esper. I'm glad to have you here with me. In today's matchup, we have the Owlbear and the Gelatinous Cube. And for today's battle arena, we have the Carceral of the Shunned. This map can be found on my Patreon page. That is Esper the Bard on patreon.com. Go check that out. The link is down below in the video description. There you can support the channel and get access to some fantastic monthly content that will enrich your own RPG campaigns. And let's take a look at today's matchup. So first of all, we have the Owlbear, a large monstrosity, unaligned, challenge rating of 3. Armor class is 13, hit points are 59, and a speed of 40 feet. Strengths, this is a very powerful melee creature. Its 2-hit is high, its damage is high, just a juggernaut in melee. Its speed is above average, though that's not really going to come into play too much, I don't think, in this fight, and it has keen sight and smell. That means it has advantage on perception checks that are based on vision or smell. That is going to come in handy. In terms of weaknesses, it has a mediocre AC, it has a low intelligence and a low charisma score, and it has no ranged abilities at all. However, those weaknesses really aren't going to bother it in this fight, as none of those really are going to factor in. Then there is the Gelatinous Cube, a large ooze, also unaligned. Its challenge rating is 2. It has an AC of only 6, hit points of 84, and a speed of a mere 15 feet. So in terms of strengths, it does have quite high hit points. It has some immunities due to being this ooze. It can't be blinded, charmed, deafened. It's immune to exhaustion, frightened, prone. It has blind sight out to 60 feet, which really is an elite form of perception or an elite sense. It has transparency, so the owlbear might not even see it until it moves or attacks. It really is just transparent and can go unnoticed, and you might end up just walking right into the thing unless you succeed on a DC 15 perception check. And it has its iconic engulf feature, where it moves forward and tries to engulf and absorb into its body kind of any creature in its path. Anything in there is restrained, it can't breathe, it's taking this ongoing acid damage, and if the creature doesn't get out of there quickly, that acid damage starts to really add up. It has a number of weaknesses though. First of all, its AC is just abysmal. 6 is extremely low. As long as the owlbear does not roll a natural 1, it's going to hit. It's also incredibly slow, just a speed of 15 feet. However, that engulf feature also works like a dash, so it's moving forward while it's trying to absorb things into it, so that does mitigate the slow speed a bit. Its blind sight is something of a double-edged sword because outside of that 60-foot range, it is blind. It's nearly mindless. It's not going to have any real tactics. It just wants to consume and engulf things. And it has no ranged abilities. Kind of like what we saw with the owlbear, a number of these weaknesses really aren't going to make a difference in this fight. The low AC really is the big one that's gonna really hinder it. So will the owlbear rip and bite the gelatinous cube down into little globs, or will the cube engulf it and dissolve it down to bones? Really, it could go either way. I think I would place my bet on the owlbear, even though it is a dirty, accursed abomination that should have never existed to begin with. Its melee attacks are just so strong. It can tear through that cube in just 3 or 4 turns worth of attacks. I think as long as the owlbear rolls decently well on its perception check to notice the cube and on its dexterity saving throws against the engulf, it's probably going to splatter the cube. And just before we roll initiative, I must make a bardic decree. Raise your thumbs of glory and give this video a like, and make sure to hit the subscription button with the bell ringing. You are the spectators in this arena of monsters and heroes, and your support and your cheers really help to propel this entire endeavor forward. Within the misbegotten and shadowy dungeon of the Carceral of the Shunned, 2 creatures are present. The gelatinous cube, which is lurking and waiting, and the owlbear, who is prowling about. It moves forward, but it might actually notice that there is something right ahead. The owlbear is going to make its perception check. It has advantage due to its keen sight and smell, And oh no, it just rolled incredibly low and stumbles right into the ooze. It makes a dexterity saving throw. It has disadvantage because it did not notice the ooze. It's got a +1 on a dex save. With disadvantage, that's an 11, just one under what it needed. So it has actually stumbled right into the gelatinous cube and immediately takes 3d6. I rolled pretty high. There's 14 damage right off the bat to the owlbear. That is about the worst start that it could have possibly hoped for. And it's going to begin engulfed and surprised. Here goes the initiative roll, and we're looking at the owlbear going first. Again, it's surprised, so on its first turn, it actually can't take any actions. Then its turn has passed and it's back to normal, and we go to the gelatinous cube. At the beginning of a gelatinous cube's turn, if it has a creature engulfed, it deals 6d6 acid. That's quite a lot. 19 damage, and the owlbear is going down to 26. Really, this is not the way the owlbear would want this fight to start off with. Round 2, the owlbear is going to try to get free of the gelatinous cube. By the way, I've given this some thought. What would the owlbear typically do on its turn while it's engulfed? Would it try to break free, or would it just go ahead and keep attacking since it does so much damage? I'm probably going to run this fight 2 times. I think really what an owlbear would do is try to get free, even if it was winning in the fight. It's just such a instinctual thing, and this is an instinctual beast type creature. Being trapped somewhere where you cannot breathe is one of the deepest primal terrors, is one of the most panic inducing things possible for a living creature. Okay, the owlbear's strength check to try to break free. It's actually restrained at the moment. That succeeds, and it pulls itself out, and we go to the cube's turn. That was the action for the owlbear. So the cube is going to try to engulf once again. That's what it does. It blorps along, and the owlbear is going to make its dexterity saving throw, though this time without any disadvantage. It actually fails. It only has a +1, so it gets restrained once again in the cube and takes an immediate 3d6 acid. Didn't roll very high that time, just 7 damage. Owlbear is already down to 19. It's going to make a strength check to try to break out of the engulf. It rolled low. Oh no. I think the cube's going to win this one. We go to the cube's turn. Here comes the big dose of acid, 25, and that kills the owlbear. It is dead just like that. Goodbye, owlbear. And this dungeon now has a gelatinous cube lurking in it with some owlbear bones inside of its mass. Okay, and let's do the second run here. The owlbear, prowling along, makes a perception check. What does it notice there? Why, there is a creature, and it halts and screeches. And initiative roll is off. The cube's actually going first this time. It's going to start off trying to do the engulf, of course. It moves ahead forward, and the owlbear will make its dexterity saving throw to try to avoid that. It rolls miserably low. Oh my gosh. All right, so what kind of damage we're looking at there? 11. It goes down to 48 from the get-go here. All right, onto the owlbear's turn. It's going to try to break free with the strength check. Got a 14. That's enough. It's a DC 12 to get out of there. Back to the ooze, attempting to engulf. Come on, owlbear, let's see what you can do. Nat 19 on a dex save will be certainly good enough, and it's going to go to the owlbear's turn, where it will make its multi-attack of beak and claws. Those are both hits. Again, anything other than a natural 1 is going to be a hit for the owlbear. And we're looking at a total of 27 damage to the gelatinous cube. Pretty solid hit. All right, on to the cube's turn, attempt the engulf. And here's a dex save for the owlbear, rolling a total of 13. That's good enough. It's DC 12, so it moves out of the way, doesn't get engulfed, and goes on to the owlbear's turn. Onto its multi-attack, Nat 18, Nat 6. Those are going to certainly be good enough. Some damage rolls here, coming up to 28. The bestial predator is tearing into this ooze without mercy, yet it continues to slug along, trying to make a meal out of this part avian, part mammalian creature. There is a failure on the dex save, and it is getting engulfed once again. There is a total of 8 damage. It still has 40 hit points, so it's not doing too terribly. Here goes the strength check to get out of the engulf. Oh no, and it rolls really bad. On to the Gelatinous Cube's turn. Here comes the 6d6. Big hit of acid damage, 16. The owlbear struggles, tries to rip free. This time it does succeed and pulls itself out. The cube ceaselessly trying to engulf the owlbear. It attempts to evade and it does, moves to the side and responds with a beak and claws attack. Another 2 hits and it's going to tear into the ooze for a total of 22 damage. The Gelatinous Cube is down to a mere sliver of its hit points. Attempts the engulf. This might be the last time it gets to attempt this. Let's see what happens to the owlbear. There was a nat 20 on the deck save. That will certainly do it, and I think this is the end of the road for the Gelatinous Cube. The owlbear gets a hit and a critical hit, just absolutely reduces this thing to a puddle of slime, flings globs all over the walls of the carceral here. And I'm sure the owlbear is not going to be feasting upon the remains of the Gelatinous Cube. So there we have it. Owlbear versus the Gelatinous Cube. 2 iconic D&D monsters. What a cool battle. Really can go either way, as we just saw. Thanks for watching, everybody. And an extra special thank you to everyone who is a supporter of mine over on Patreon. In particular, Lucas Mesmo, Adam Wood, Nick Thy Pirate King, Jared Primont, Locke, Nicholas A., Technicolor Shale, Robert Brescini, and Ben R. You guys are awesome. I cannot thank you enough. That'll do it for now, everyone. Until next time, may your adventures be many.